So I have no idea what day of lecture we're on. 3. Day 3 of lecture. We are doing 2.1 today. Chapter 2 in its entirety is on organizing data. In 2.1, we'll do a lot of tables. In 2.2 through 2.4, these are graphical things. Different ways we can graph data. So 2.1 is on frequency and relative frequency. So to motivate this idea, this is what I did. This happened to be right before the fucking pandemic started. In spring of 2020, I had 3 different stats classes. Let me tell you, that's no peach. Sure, you're going over the same shit for 3 different classes, but you're like, which class am I in? What have I gone over in this class already? Where am I? And you don't want to say the same shit 3 times, but you still need to cover the same content 3 times. So you're like, how can I fucking adapt it? But avoiding adapting it, I asked the students question, what time of day do you do your best work? And I got these responses. I gave them 5 categories. The 5 categories were, I said A was morning, B was noon, C was afternoon, D was evening, and E was late at night. Late night. Now, I didn't tell them what morning meant in terms of hours. I let them decide. If morning for them was 5 a.m. to 10 a.m., that works. If it was 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., that works as well. Most people didn't go past noon for morning, even if they woke up at 11 a.m., because they know like noon is like the cutoff for morning at the best. But some people included like 11 o'clock in that noon hour. Some people like work early and they take an early lunch and they associate that with the noon hour. I didn't define afternoon. I didn't say 2 to 5 or 3 to 6 or anything like that. I let them pick. These are the responses I got. For morning, I was told 25 people said morning. For noon, 30 people said, I like noon best. Afternoon was 20. Evening was 17. And late night was 9. I'm off the screen. Now, this means 25 people answered morning. So if I were to have the data table, I might still have the data table. I'm going to have to look. But we won't do it today to slow down lecture. I'm going to have to look for next semester, though. See if I still have the data table. I don't think they had to put their names. It was just like, answer this question. There was other questions as well, I want to say, but this is the one I'm focusing on. So like the number of people that answered a specific way is called the frequency. So another way of saying what the frequency is the number of times the outcome shows up in the data or occurs in the data. Give people some time to write this. I gotta remember, you guys are my prim and proper class. The only class that didn't answer anything inappropriately. Gotta try to keep it a little more appropriate with you guys. You know, actually, now that I think about it, that little whole questionnaire is kind of like a gauge of where the class is at, like how I can interact with them. The crazy ones, I can be crazy back. You guys are proper. I'll treat you guys. All right, so this can be helpful. But what if I like just told you, like, I did this survey and I asked my students what time of day they work best. And I told you 25 of my students said morning. That information, just one line alone, doesn't mean a whole lot. Is 25 a lot of them? If I only ask one class and it's 30 to 40 people, 25 is over half. If I have 500 students, 25 is nothing. It's dirt. So like 25 by itself, the frequencies individually aren't as helpful as the next thing we're going to talk about, which is called relative frequency. They're still useful, but I'm going to put these same numbers on another table and show you how relative frequency works. It's called relative frequency. Again, if I'm moving pages too quickly, let me know. I'll bring the other page fully back on top. If you abbreviate it, rel, frec, like that is a common one, or RF. But let me write the columns and put in the numbers and show you how we adapt them. We still use all of that same data. It would be meaningless if we didn't. It would be completely different. So what we do, actually, let me let you finish writing that before we start going into relative frequency. It's still going on, so I'm waiting. Don't want to rush anybody. We got time. Oh, that's not good. Not even 10:30, and I'm drank half of a 30-ounce of coffee and still yawning. I need to quit staying up till 1 in the morning reading. Well, I wasn't. No, it was only like midnight last night. Still, I gotta get up at 6:30. There's no reason to stay up that late. Getting into like those early morning hours make you act like an old person. Like you got to go to bed earlier. It doesn't help that I'm already becoming an old person. Like combining that with work hours. I like normally teaching the night shift. I went out of my way for you guys because I said, you guys need David. You need Hefe. All right. So for relative frequency, what we're going to do is add up all the answers. Add up all the frequencies. This is how we start relative frequencies. This is actually going to give us n, which is our sample size, or the number of respondents, participants. That's an E, not a C, sample size. If you add those all up, you should get n equals 101. Okay, so the way we calculate relative frequencies, I want to go off the screen. Calculating rel-rec. We take our value and divide by n, where these are the individual frequencies. And this was our sample size. X divided by n. So each of these, I'm going to divide by 101. You'll find if you add up the relative frequencies, you will get, when you do it as the fraction form, you should get 101 over 101. So the sum is 1. You can do that in the decimal form too. I haven't shown the decimal values yet. So let's write down what the decimal values are. 25 out of 101 is 0.2475. 30 out of 101 is 0.2970. These are all the 4 decimal places. I've got 0.1980, 0.1683, and 0.0891. These are decimals out of a total of 1. I can convert these to percentages really easy. Does anyone remember how you convert a decimal to a percentage? You just move the decimal plate to the right twice and add the percentage, right? So I can move it to the right twice, and this becomes 24.75%. So I'll show the percentage equivalence for each of these real quick. I am just moving the decimal point and adding percentage symbol. Oh, why am I looking over there? It's on the fucking paper already. Duh. Isn't that more helpful? Now I can look at it and go, morning was almost 25%. I can get a feel for that, and it doesn't matter if it was 25 people or if it was 100 people. I can get a feel for what, so about a fourth of them said morning. That makes sense. Late night, less than 10%. That is easier to wrap your head around rather than going 9 people. Well, 9 people might represent all of them, or it might represent very few of them. Turns out in this case, it's very few of them. Most people like to work in the morning or the noon. Apparently, light helps people work. Not everybody. Some people are night owls. So this is how we can do relative frequency. This is actually super duper easy in StatCrunch. StatCrunch is the homework software affiliated with our MyMathLab. And I'm going to walk you through getting this shit today. Before I start there, I'm going to write down the commands so you can see the written down commands first. But I know some people are still writing this down, so I will hesitate a second. Everyone ready? Or anyone still need more time? Okay, it's fine. Not a problem. I got into work this morning at 7:30, and I didn't have the radio on in the car. But as I walked through the door, Master of Puppets started playing through my head. Metallica. I have no idea why. I don't know where I saw it or heard it lately. I love Metallica, but I haven't listened to one of their albums in a while. I grew up on that. When I was a teenager, is all about Metallica. Okay. Now bringing it up. Now the song's back in my head, full fucking throttle. God damn it. Sometimes you just gotta not say anything.
If you listen to it, it might go away.
I'm gonna do that after class. I'm gonna throw it on YouTube or something. My friends know that I have this problem where I hear a clip, just a little bit of a song, and it just starts going on fucking loop. Turns out, if you reference the words to a song without singing it, like it was in a typed message, they pulled some of the lines from Africa by Toto. Nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. That song. I'm not doing it justice, but they took a couple of the lines from it, didn't even do the full line, didn't even do them back to back, just threw them in and sprinkled them in a little paragraph, a little bit here, a little bit there. I'm like, oh, you mother. I was mad and shit. Because that song got stuck in my head and I don't know all the goddamn words.
When I can hear like one specific note, like in a song, like just like one sound that's in a song, and I can't think of any other part of the song, but I have like the desire to really listen to that song, even though I don't know what the song is. I just hear like one note from it in my head.
That's rough.
Yeah.
The one note, you hear one note, you're like, oh my god damn it, I know that song. What is it from? And it starts just itching. It's an itch you cannot scratch because it's in your brain.
And I can't remember anything else about the song for like 2 weeks.
Right.
And then I suddenly remember it and like,
and out of nowhere you just blurt that shit out. It happens. Yeah.
Although it is extremely satisfying when I finally figure it out.
So nowadays, getting lyrics to a song is really easy. When I was your age, the internet was just being born. That's how old this fucker up here is. The internet was just being born. So you wanted the lyrics, you had to find someone that knew the lyrics, or yeah, I don't know, try to find them in a book. That doesn't happen. So, like, I learned a lot of songs the wrong way. There is a song by Creedence Clearwater Revival called Bad Moon. And part of the line goes, there's the bad moon on the right. Now, I didn't know it was about Bad Moon. I didn't know the name. I'm just listening to it on the radio. They weren't saying what the name of the song is. So all I heard was, there's the bathroom on the right. Made no sense, but I'm like, how many songs actually fucking make sense when you hear them? You're like, what? What is this, Alice in Wonderland? I don't get what's going on. And then I heard the real one, and I think it was, I sang it in front of other people. And someone stopped me and said, did you say bathroom? I said, yeah. He goes, the song isn't about a bathroom. You know that, right? I don't remember who it was. I remember getting called on it because I remember feeling hella stupid.
That's like me with songs that I listened to as a kid and I thought they were certain words, and then as I get older, I'm like, I was completely wrong when I was singing that song.
Right? Now I laughed about it shortly after I felt stupid because it's funny. Because I knew all along the bathroom didn't make sense. All right, so back to this. How can we do this in StatCrunch? I will walk you through it on the screen, but before we do it, I'm going to write down some commands so that you have a written version as well. In StatCrunch, to do frequency and relative frequency, both of them. What we do is we're going to click on stats. Then we're going to click on tables. And we're going to click on frequency. Now, some of these tables, some of these options in StatCrunch, you're going to be given a list of items in a table. So I'm just giving like letters here as an example. If you click A, it'll put a box around A. And then hold down Control and click like another one, preferably one that's not in order. Like let's go with F. It will select A and F. Sometimes you have to scroll down. If you have to scroll down to get more things you want to click, let go of Control first. I don't know the Apple equivalent. It's probably the Apple button. Then scroll. And when you get to where you want, hold down Control again. I'll show you this on the screen. If you don't do that, if you hold down Control while you're scrolling, like using the mouse wheel, if you use the mouse wheel, the fucking shit just zooms in and out. It's fucking, you're like, oh, what happened? That's if we hold down Control. The other option is we could click A. So I click A and it highlights A. And then hold down Shift. The Shift key. And click another letter. We'll say E right now. When you hold down Shift and click another letter, what it does is it highlights everything between them. So you get all of them. So you can select, this is a way to select a lot at once that are in order. And this is for selecting out of order. I realize my hand's in the way because I wrote that all fucking stupid. Bless you. Thank you. Bless you again. This is handy knowledge. Giving everybody time to write down before we click over to StatCrunch or MyMathLab.
Question.
Yeah.
When you're doing the percentage, was it running near the 10th place or the 100th place?
It was ended up when we moved it over, it was at the hundreds place.
Okay.
We had 2 decimal places, so that's hundreds. But if you're doing a homework problem, it will tell you how many it wants. Sometimes it doesn't want any decimal places, sometimes it wants a bunch. I see some folks still running, just give them a little bit more longer. I'm literally going to walk you through showing you how to do StatCrunch. I'm going to give you something to look at later on, like dabble with before class on Thursday. And then we'll wrap it up. You guys are getting out here fucking early. But I think if you explore around a little bit on your own, you'll see a lot of shit. And like exploring is a great way of learning stuff. A lot of people treat StatCrunch as this like weird, I can't do it. And it's basically like doing Excel, Microsoft Excel. It's not that bad, but some people are like, I can't handle computers. I can't do this at all. And they don't even try. I'm just going to encourage you to go and click on different shit and like try to figure out what's going on.
I personally really suck at using computers. I'm not a computer girly.
Well, then you're going to get some practice.
But I will say StatCrunch and like MyMathLab is all pretty straightforward.
It's not bad.
And then also like if you get confused, you can just click like, I forgot what the box looks like, but you can like click a box and it shows you what to click to use StatCrunch.
Right.
Like it shows you how to do it if you need to.
Right. It shows you.
It's all pretty straightforward.
Some of the problems later on don't. The fucking idiots, and I know one of these idiots that he works here. All the help in there is fucking by hand. This class is designed to be taught with computer. And when you ask for like help on a problem, it fucking shows you how to do like this long, drawn out 30-minute process by hand, when in StatCrunch it's 30 seconds, not 30 minutes. All right, let's go take a look at it. First thing I wanted to show you, we'll go to our course. Let's see. You should be able to click on files. And if you do, you can actually, this is where I store the daily lecture notes, or you can see it in the modules. But what I'm trying to lead you for, I'm going to reference this Math 21 lecture notes quite a bit. In fact, we're going to use it on Thursday for 2.4. But also in here is useful handouts. And in useful handouts, we'll look at stats. StatCrunch Tech Help is where I want to go right now. I recommend downloading this bastard and just having it available when you're doing homework, rather than trying to open this up and have it in another browser window. Oh, really? How long are we going to take? It's not that long. It's like 12 pages. Oh, shit, it was 12 pages. As you're going through them, it will tell you how to do it. I am covering 2.1 right now. Frequency or relative frequency. It tells me select stats, select tables, and select frequency. This was everything I just had you write down on the piece of paper. It's organized by section header. There's bar graphs, pie charts and stuff. We'll look at those in a second. 2.2, well, we might do bar graphs and pie graphs on Thursday because it is a graph thing. But I'll point it out to you. On 2.2, it's going to show you how to do the next part. We're going to have histograms, stem and leaf plots, dot plots, stuff like that. So that's that. We're going to come over to MyMathLab. We're in MyMathLab. If you click on StatCrunch over here, it takes you to this screen, and then click on visit the StatCrunch website. Let's see. There's a couple things. If you just click open StatCrunch, it's going to give you a blank browser or blank StatCrunch screen. If you're wanting to explore, and I'm going to do some exploring here in a second, you can click on data sets and just find a bunch of data sets and like look at them. I think if you type in Jones Hefe, you can find some of mine. Jones Hefe, we got a bunch of ones going on here. you should be able to open any of these. In fact, some of these, like this was by Corey, this was some work he did on shoes for his project. Another group did a survey on baking for their project. We're going to get to some of these later on. Another option is, I don't see where black is. What the hell was I thinking when I wrote black? If you've got your own data sets, you can do those. I'm going to look at, oh, where do I want to go? Spring 2022 project. So I asked a bunch of people, how many people answered this? This was on Facebook and in classes. This is StatCrunch. It enters people by rows. So each row is a different person's responses. 213 people responded to the survey, and it uploaded the responses. And like, this was about, would you fit the description of the suspect in a crime? Like, do you have enough things that match up with the suspect? Are you the same height? You have the same shoe size? Shit like that, things that they can track. But I want to take a look at doing some of this stuff with age. So I'm going to go stats. So that's where I say, when I say stats, I'm saying, put your cursor over this bad boy, go to tables, go to frequency. Okay, stats, tables, frequency. We want to look at age. And right now it shows frequency and relative frequency are a darker gray, so it's going to show both of them. Right now it shows by order by value ascending. I'll show you what that means on the screen. Compute is all you really need to do. Unless you want to change these things, just click compute. And it asks us, whoa, there's lots of unique numbers, values for age. Do you want to turn on binning for this process? I'm going to say no. So it goes through and it grabs me the frequency of each response. We'll talk about binning on Thursday. But it gives me the frequency of each response and the relative frequency. These are not percentages. These are decimal answers. So if you want the percent, you have to click to a percent. Another way of looking at these, and this is what I want you to explore. Actually, before I do that, let's look at how that click thing works that I was talking about. So I click on age, and if I hold down shift and click on shoe, it selected everything between age and shoe. So I clicked on age and I held down shift and I clicked on shoe. Instead, if I click on age and I hold down control and click on shoe, it skips gender. I'm holding down control key right now. Watch what happens on the screen if I try to scroll while holding down control. So that's fucking shitty. Pretty quickly, you can't see. So if you scroll the other way, like scroll back up, you can get it to another value. Now I let down control and I can scroll down some more and I can now hit control and maybe grab Q10. And we're not going to do binning again. Here I asked 3 questions or 3 rows, but I only see, oh, it's down below. So they got 1 frequency table for age. They got 1 frequency table for shoes. And 1 frequency table for question 10, which is apparently what type of shirt do you normally wear? You have some options if you want to go back and change shit in StatCrunch without going through the trees again. Just click on options at the top and click edit. and all of your selections are still done. So if you're like, maybe I wanted to add in Q6, I'll hold down Control and add Q6. We'll show binning tomorrow. And we do that. So here's our frequency. And it's got, now we've got age frequency, we've got shoe frequency, we've got question 10, which was on shirts, and question 213, which is, that might be pants color or shorts color. Or skin complexion. I might have went with dark, light, and tan for skin complexion. Or skin tone. Let's look at age again real quick. Stats. If you've already made a table and you don't want to go through and do it again, see that there's a 2 written right here in blue up there? And it says 2 results hidden. You can pull up old shit that you did and not have to redo it. So we have this frequency table thing. Something I want you guys to explore before class next time is graphs. So load up a data set. You can come over here, randomly pick a data set in here. If you want the one I'm using right now, look up CSI Stats Project. And if you look up CSI Stats Project, you can play with this one I'm using right now, which has got a lot of entries in it. It might be helpful. Come over here and explore around with some graphs. Take a look at doing a bar plot. We have the data. We don't have summary. So take a look at the bar plot. Look at age. Right now it's doing frequency. Go through and explore it. Take a look at what happens when you click on value above bar and not value above bar. This is a bar graph. Everyone knows what a bar graph is. Take a look at histograms. You can do a histogram on age as well. Do value above bar there. Click compute and take a look at the difference. And this is a bar graph. This is a histogram. What's the difference between the two? They both look like bar graphs, right? So play around with it. Look at the difference of them. Try to figure out what's going on. Play around with some of the graphs. We are doing a lot of stuff with, we're only going to use the tables thing for frequency until near the end. Later on, we'll use contingency, but for now it's frequency. Most of the stuff we're doing in the next 4 weeks is summary stats, under stats, and columns. And we're going to be doing graphs with histograms a lot. But take a look at the pie chart. Take a look at the stem and leaf. Tinker around with it, get a feel for them. Definitely look at bar plot and histogram and try to go what's the difference? Because there is a difference. Maybe look at the options that you have. The bar plot and the histograms have different options for columns I can select. Maybe figure out why. Try to figure out why. Do a little playing around, try to tinker with it a little bit. If you tinker with StatCrunch in the next couple days and look at a bunch of these menus and go what's going on here? You're going to be well ahead of the curve when you're doing the rest of the homework. It'll become a little bit more intuitive. Any questions? All right, let's call it a wrap. Let's let you go. See you. Hi.
A quick question.
Yeah.
So I did go over those Pearson, I did create an account with all that, and then Pearson is where you go to assignments. And look at. So do we have to do anything before going and doing those questions, or is that like you know how to work the problem and get the answers, or how does that work?
Most of it, we go through them and look at them and see if you have, like, most of them are like stuff we've talked about.
Okay.
And many of them have multiple choice things, like,
Okay.
like chapter 1, we didn't do a lot of math, so.
Yeah, no.
There's no calculation, so it's gotta be all like vocabulary and like answering questions.
Oh, answering questions like vocabulary, or what we've gone.
Right,
Oh,
so it might be multiple choice, there might be a drop down list, and you'll pick the right answer that fits this one.
okay.
Yeah.
For chapter 1 and chapter 2.
Yeah,
Change it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. I was just wondering, what if it's math problem, because we haven't even gone over it.
right,
I didn't actually click on it, but I did see question 1. I was like, before I click on it, I think I'm gonna ask before getting into it.
yeah,
Doing the assignment.
that makes sense, it's always worth asking.
Yeah, thank you.
What's that?
So I have a question about where do we find the book?
The easiest way to do it is directly in the program. So click on Canvas. Easiest way to do it, scroll up and click on syllabus. Click on the one that has the Jones 68309. We need the code. If you click on that one, it'll take you straight to it. And it gives you the if you have a Pearson, pop-ups are blocked. Click on that, or yeah, click on it and allow them to say always allow. And you can close that pop-up window. If you have a Pearson account already, use it. If not, just make one.
I feel like I have.
I didn't hit stop recording.